Hi, welcome to Foreigner in the Philippines. It's another little late night chat. This was inspired by a letter that I had from a sub who's been contacting me about his applying for his lady to go and live in his country. Now it has to be America because he's applying for the K1 visa, and I thought it was worth giving you a few tips on dealing with the immigration system of the US. The immigration system of the US are tough, so I won't go into slagging them off now, but I've had various dealings with them because I came to America in 1992, and I brought my then 6-year-old boy with me, and we went through a huge amount of trouble and dealing with extra requests, and then it wasn't good enough, so they wanted more. And our friend who has written now is also having the same thing. He's made the K1. Now, just for those who don't know, which I think is very unlikely, but anyway, for those who don't know, there's two ways to apply. Well, I'm sure that there are more than two, but as far as a lady goes, you can come out here and you can get married here, and then you can apply for your wife to go to America. It's the long way round. It will take you probably 2 years, although somebody's bound to write to me and say, only took me 1 year. Okay, that's good, congratulations. For the rest of us mere mortals, it probably will take up to 2 years. So the most popular way to do it is to go on what's called, I think, the K1 visa. If it's not the right number, it's the Fiancee visa. Okay, now with the Fiancee visa, what you have to do is you have to prove that you have an actual relationship and that you have been and met the lady hopefully more than once. Now, let me just give you a few tips on that. If you come over and whether by planning or by accident, and I know a lot of people who came over with no intention of meeting anyone and then met someone who just turned out to be probably their soulmate. So then they have all of this to go through. Now, I think it has to be fairly said that you have to go for an interview. So your fiancé will have to, let's say that it's the most common is a lady. So the lady will have to go probably to Manila, and she'll have to have an interview. Now, at that interview, the interviewer has total control. He has total, or she has total authority, and they can look at your lovely lady, and they can look at your picture, and they can look at the evidence that you have that there is a proper relationship, which I'll go to in a minute. And they may be having a bad hair day. They may just be feeling a little bit difficult that day, cranky if you like, and they may refuse. And they may refuse with total authority. Now, as I said, it may be that they're just having a bad hair day, that they're feeling cranky, that somebody has messed them about, a taxi driver was rude. It can be anything, and it can also be a genuine suspicion that something is not quite right. That interviewer will never be asked to justify her decision. Okay? So, back to our friend who has applied for his lady to go to join him in America. And he says that what has happened is that the immigration have gotten back to him and said that there's something not quite right with the application that you made. So in other words, you must be absolutely up to date on what the paperwork is. It may just be a different way of presenting the questions, but it has to be their way. It's their way or nothing at all. So let's assume that you are going to apply for the K1 visa, the fiancé visa, and go from there. Right, what are you going to have to do? You're going to have to go for an interview. Now, when your girlfriend goes for an interview, she's going to be asked, well, who is this man that you are now engaged to? How long have you known him? Where did you meet? They're going to want to know if this is actually a relationship, because, well, they've made movies about this in almost every country, where the so-called green card is the prize, not a husband, and people have married for a fee. They've married a lady, and the lady goes there and pretends to be in a relationship with the man. Now, unless it's a scam, unless it's a scam where the woman is actually taking the man for a ride and is therefore at his home living with him until everything clears, and then she's going to shoot away somewhere else. Unless it's one of those, it will be a situation where for a fee the person has said that they will pretend, and then they have to go through a charade. Now let's go to the genuine one, which is you. So you're going to go for an interview. They're going to want to, they'll want to see some evidence that this is a real relationship before they allow that lady to go to America and spend 90 days deciding whether she's going to get married or not. It's not always yes. Okay, there's a video on, or probably 1,000 videos on YouTube showing that the lady decided, no, this is a terrible mistake, and ended up returning to the Philippines or wherever she came from, right? But let's say that this is a genuine application. So you're going to have to show, how can you show that it's a proper relationship? Well, photographs are the main thing, the main way that you can show that there is a relationship. And what kind of photographs are you going to be showing? You're not going to be showing stuff just in the high street or sitting in a tricycle, although those will be valid. What you're going to try to show is that this was a relationship that had enough fun, had enough joy, had enough love developing in all of the activities that you did. So, did you just sit on a park bench and looking at each other to decide that you love each other madly? I don't think so. You're going to have gone places. You'll have gone out to special restaurants. You'll have gone to theme parks. You'll have gone to in Bohol. You'll have gone to Lubbock or Lubbock. I never know how to pronounce that. The floating restaurant. You'll have done the zip line. You'll have done all kinds of fun things where you found each other. Now, how do you prove that? With photographs and receipts. So keep every little stub, keep everything that proves that you were there as a couple on a certain day in the time frame that you said that you met. All right? Keep aeroplane for your fiancé. The man should keep his aeroplane boarding pass, his tickets, his ticket stubs, where he changed money at the airport. Now, You may get the greatest guy in the world who has suddenly decided that he's going to do a few interviews, and he won't even look at any of this. It's been known to happen. He will look at you, say, well, it looks great, your fiancé is a lucky man, off you go, I hope you get married and you'll be very happy. But let's not assume that that's going to be it. Let's assume it's the difficult one that wants to say no to you, and have every little bit of evidence possible right there. Emails, even though you may Skype, still do emails so that you have where you exchanged words. Okay, so have plenty of that. There's no guarantee that it will happen the first time, but here's the thing. If it doesn't happen the first time, just keep going, right? Just do it again. I know this is very difficult to do, but the best way to apply for a visa that is really important to you is when you have plenty of time, when the time frame itself is not important. So if your fiancé is over here and he's here for a year, and you very quickly decide that you want to be married and go to the US to be together, the time to apply is now. That's always the best time. And the best place to get the information as to what is required is at the source. Don't rely on somebody like me or like anybody else who knows all about it. I don't know all about it because I believe it changes too often for anybody to know all about it. And this last letter, which I read a few minutes ago, he said that he was told things have been updated. Now, go online, get the most recent updated forms and fill those in, and get them checked and get them looked at and get them copied, all right, and send them off. And send them off, if you can, way before you want to actually go. And then forget that they've gone off. And then if you get anything back and they say, well, you forgot ABC 21, the form that you absolutely must have, then you go off and you get ABC 21 and you put it in an envelope and you send it off again, right? So by not stressing on it coming through, as our friend naturally is now, he's saying just being jerked around. Well, get that out of your head if you possibly can. You'll have to be perfect, a saint to do it, but I suggest that and hope that you will be able to step back after you've sent the application off and just spend time staying sane. That's the thing to do. If you get it sent back, look at it, quickly get whatever it is that they are now asking for and send it off again. And if you are refused without real reason, write in, ask what the reason is, and if the reason is the ABC 21, then go out and get it and send it. Don't give up. It will happen. Just remember this, is that when you send your form in again, it might not be the same person who is going to look at it and assess it. Might not be the same one. So the awkward one, who you may think hates you and doesn't want you to come into the US, may not be the same one who's doing it again. So that's what you have to hope for. So find out what the correct forms are, fill them in as best you can. If you can afford it, get an immigration lawyer to look at them and say, yes, this is correct, or better still, if you can afford a lawyer to try this, then go online. There are lawyers, attorneys in the US who specialize in this, and for a few $1,000s, probably too many $1,000 for you, but we'll live in hope, they are there. And one that I saw operating out of LA once said, I have never had it turned down. I've never had an application fail. Sounds good, doesn't it? So if you can afford it, that's a way to go. Okay, hope it helps. If you are on the verge of applying, good luck. I wish you well. You can always contact me, and if I can help, I don't know what more I can say than I've said now, but I'll try. And bye for now.